All right, not too bad. We're just 1 minute late this time. So happy Wonder Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to our new event here at Floxy's community. If this is your first time watching us live, we're an international community for women in UX UI design and Webflow development. And every Wednesday, we gather here to host these live events for our community. We're also live every day in our Discord. So if you're not part of that, go ahead and sign up via our website. It's free to join, and we offer support, resources, feedback, anything you might wish for from a design community. So looking forward to meeting you all today. And we've been carrying out a series of events based on design systems. We've been focusing in particular on Figma, which is one of our favorite design tools, of course. And so today we're continuing that series of events, and we will be exploring tokens. So without further ado, let me get into our gather space here, and let me join the table. Alrighty. Okay, so we are now live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and anywhere you might want us to be. So welcome everyone, happy Wonder Wednesday. I'm so excited to be here. This is my favorite day of the week because not only we get to hang out with our community, but we also get to learn from amazing expert speakers here like Anshul. If you've been watching our series before, you've met Anshul in our latest event. He was teaching us all about design components in Figma, a very a super presentation on components. We learned so much from you, Anshul. So we couldn't get enough of you. And so you're here again with us in our community. And today you will be teaching us some more, and we will be exploring tokens, which is another kind of advanced feature for our designers. And so I'm very happy to have you back here with us. How are you feeling today? He's feeling very concentrated. Can you hear us, Anshul?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty well.
Okay,
Sorry,
awesome.
I was lost in my presentation.
No
Yeah.
worries. How are you feeling today? Are you happy to be back?
Yeah. I'm totally happy. I can actually do it, again and again. It's really good to be back and, continue where we left last time.
Oh, you can be a regular here. We're very inclusive. Awesome.
Sure.
I was just saying, that you gave us a really awesome presentation last time based on components. We learned a ton from you. And so I believe this week we're going to continue that presentation, and we're going to touch upon tokens, which is a completely new kind of topic for me. So I'm very, very eager to learn.
Sure, for sure. Let me share my screen. Let's get started.
Awesome. Yeah, Zara says excited for part 2 today. Very new for me too. That's good. Let me see if we have people in the chat. Anna, Aida, Aman. Lovely to see you guys. Welcome to our Fluxys community.
I hope my screen is visible, right?
Let me see. Yep, I can see your screen. Right now there's a sort of inception going on. The gather inside the gather. Yeah, I can see your presentation. Awesome. And if you haven't seen Anshul's part 1, I recommend catching up on that event because it was really awesome. And I particularly like the mood board. The theme that he's using for this presentation is very, very visually pleasing. So, Anshul, I'll give it up to you.
Thank you, Claudia. Okay. Last time we discussed about design system. Design system are basically help us create a consistent and uniform design for any product or any website, and it helps us in scaling it. The another important concept within design system is design token, right? There could be multiple components, there could be multiple asset within the system where we will use similar kind of properties, right? And design tokens help us define those properties, right? Design within the design system, we can actually differentiate between those properties. Yet those properties are same from a fundamental point aspect, but from the naming and the understanding for a developer, it should be different. It should be conveyed in a way that designer can differentiate between the common properties with different names, right? I'll give you an example for that as well. But before that, let's try to understand the definition of design tokens, right? Um, Design tokens are all the values needed to construct and maintain a design system, right? It could be colors, it could be, rounded corners, it could be any type of property, it could be the shadow value, the blur value, it could be the distance, the, x and y distance. It could be anything, any kind of value that your property or your component can retain, right? Moving on, these can represent anything defined by design as a color, as a RGB value, an opacity, as a number, a spacing value, whatnot, right? If we get into the example, if you see on the right side, we have Anshul Gupta having a photo. There is a CEO have the same photo. We have a co-founder also have the same photo. So basically what we are saying, the Anshul Gupta is the CEO, is the co-founder. He is again the lead designer at MT. He's someone's brother. Okay, we have father also. Okay, I'm too young for this. Let's remove this one. And so if I talk about as a whole, I represent these, these profiles, or you can say these designation in my life. But as we move along, CEO can change, right? Co-founder can change, lead designer can change, even brother can change, right? Let's suppose if we take this photo, right? If I change it, if I change it with Anshul, everywhere else it gets changed, right? That's a property of being a component, right? But what if I just want to change the CEO? What if I just want to say, change the photo of the co-founder, right? I know there is a simple solution to it. Why not we just change this photo, right? This is change, right? But how will you do it in a scalable system? How will you convey this to a developer that you have to change the co-founder image with this particular image, not getting into the design itself, but by just changing few things in your design system which you have defined, right? So we will be discussing about how to define a token, how you actually convey that to a designer, developer, and how things actually change, right? Moving on. So to define design tokens, there are only three ways, or there are three levels, I would say, right? If you see this one, so this is the basic value of a color, right? This hex code is the basic value of a, or you can say primitive value of a color, right? It can be represented in any other, system as well. It could be HSB, it could be hex code, right? So by this, you have the core value, right? But if you take it step ahead, right, you will define it with ping 400. Why will we do that? To, like, if you talk to a designer may not understand hex code, may not understand HSL value, right? That's why we define that ping 400 is a value of a color that we are going to store under this name, that is ping 400. 400 is just a tonal value, and this whole is a core token, or you can say a global token. This would be a token which will define other tokens. So this will be at the base level. We are not going to change anything regarding the hex code. This is going to be at the base level, and further we will define other tokens. Further we'll define other use cases of this token. So if you see on the left, it says core global token are the primitive value in our design language represented by context agnostic names. If I define context agnostic names, this means that wherever you use, whether it's in your system, it's for your iOS design system, whether it's for any other particular system that we are using within your whole application, right? You can actually use this ping 400 without any dependency. So this is independent of each and everything, or each and everything as in like the each and every system you're going to use it. If you're going to use it in terms of text, if you are going to use it in terms of background color, it's going to be the same. This ping 400 will always define this double F00 B8, right? It's not going to change, right? Okay, moving on. Like this is the primitive value, and this is known as a core token, right? There's another way of defining token, that is alias token, right? We'll take that core token a step ahead. Now in this, what we'll do, we'll try to be more specific about that particular thing we are using this color on. Like it says CPA background color. By the name, we can clearly understand we have to use this color wherever there is a call to action. It could be a section, it could be a button, whatever it is, but it should be related to a call to action thing. It will take the background and it's the color, right? If it could be the color of a text, then we could have CTA text color instead of a background color. So what we are doing, we are actually defining that particular core token a bit more with this naming convention, right? So like we see on the left, it says alias token help communicate the intended purpose of a token and are effective when a value with a single intent will appear in multiple places. I'll explain that in a bit. For example, looking at the token like the one on the right, it's clear that this one is meant for the color, not for the foreground, right? Like I gave you the example of the CTA text color, right? That what it is actually mentioning. Like we can define a core token with more information just by changing the name of the token. That is alias token, right? I hope you guys remember, like in the criminal world, in the underground world, there is a, everyone has their alias name, right? If
Yeah.
Anshul Gupta is a Don, we don't call it Anshul Gupta. It will be Chota Chetan or it would be anything else, right?
What's your
Chota
alias name
Chetan is some
again? Don?
my Chota Chetan. It's not a Don, but it's a common, name here in India, right? So we can have, a different name, right? We can have the base name within ourselves, but we can call by a different name, right? That is basically a alias name or alias token is here.
I love
Okay,
that.
moving on. The another step of actually defining token is component specific tokens, right? Like I said, there could be a CTA background color. This could actually define the whole lot thing that is related to a call to action. It could be a section, it could be a button, it could be a even text, it could be a a heading as well, or maybe a paragraph text, whatnot. You can actually define multiple things within CTA itself, right? So then comes the component tokens, right? This help you define like button CTA color, background color, right? Now this clearly specifies that whatever button you have in a CTA section, it should be of pink color. It should be of 00. Oh, the hex code is wrong, I guess. In the previous one we have, yeah, double F00BA, and that is pink 400. That is CTA background color. But now, if you talk about component specific, this become button CTA background color. So that means we will be using this color on the button background that is used on a CTA section. Okay, is this clear how we define tokens?
I
And
think so. I think so. If there's any questions at any time, feel free to drop them in the chat. We want this event to be as interactive as possible. So this is your opportunity for the hour to get to ask as many questions as you might have to our expert here. So don't be shy. But I think it's clear so far.
perfect. Now moving on, Figma doesn't give us, a lot of flexibility in defining these components and defining the tokens, right? Uh, if we see, if we see the if we see the software, if we see the Figma platform, we only have either the local styles within which we have text styles, color styles. We can even define the shadows. Let's see what all we can define. We have this button, right? We can define the fill color, that is a color style. We can even define a stroke color that if you see, if we create something, let's suppose we have it of, you know, let's make it pink and let's make it white. Okay, we'll even give the rectangle. Okay, and on top of it, we might have some effect as well, right? It could be anything. Let's increase this, let's increase this. Now we can see it, I guess. Okay. Now if we see, right, this button have a stroke, this button has a fill color, this button has an effect, right? This button can have other properties as well, right? It can have a width, which is, changing, which can change, right? It has a height, which can change, have a, rounded corners, which can again change, right? But we can only define fill, we can only define the stroke color, we can only define the fill color, we can only define uh, the effect we have. On the other hand, this is about the shape, right? We can only define these three things like a style. Let's suppose this is the shadow. Let's give it a name. Shadow. Whatever was the let's give it 24 pixel blur. Not sure what was it, but let's have it this way. Okay. So now we have a shadow style in it, right? Now we have a effect style in it. Though we are not actually, making it under a folder. We'll do that later. But I'm trying to, give you an understanding what are the limitation of the Figma platform, right? I can even break it down, even, maybe let's suppose I make this 30. I can define another shadow that says shadow 30, right? So I can easily change it by going here. I can have it 24, I can have it 30. I can have the naming convention. Under shadow, we have 24 pixel blur, we have 30 pixel blur. We can have that. But what we cannot have, like we cannot have a property set for this corner radius. We cannot have a property set for what could be the width. It should be the, it could be the, you could say a small button, it could be a long button, or it should be, extended to the end to end, right? We can even, define the color palette. Like let's suppose we have brand color. So this comes under brand color. Now, if we see, we have color style, which says, brand color, primary, we have shadows and stuff like that, right? But we don't have the properties where we can actually alter these things, right? The size, the shape, and the radius of the particular object, right? If we get into text, right? Let's suppose we write Floxies, right? If we get into text, then we can define text styles, right? We have H4, H3, H16 over here, right? We can define these things, but what we cannot define within this, okay, I think we have a certain few more, updates, came in, I think last week itself. It's hard to define those, right? I'm not sure those are updated in the plugin which we are actually, going to talk about. But there are multiple things which you cannot actually define in the text as well. Okay, so for this, there is a plugin called Token Studio for Figma. It is created by three geniuses. I don't remember all of them, all of their names. One is, I think, Jin or Jay, something of that sort. So here, what this help us define each and everything. It help us, let me remove this one. Yes. It help us define the size. It help us define the spacing. It help us define the color, the border radius, the border width, border, opacity, box shadow, typography, font family, line. Like it gives you a bunch of options which you can define and which you can reuse, right? So let's see how we can actually, create few tokens and how we can actually apply and even edit that.
I'm gonna share it in the chat as well. If anyone wants to grab it, use that link. And by the way, the three geniuses are Hima, Abdul Wahid, and Jan Six.
Yeah.
Gotcha back.
Thank you for that. Okay, moving on. Like I said, we can define multiple things over here. It says sizing, spacing, color, border radius. Like color is the most easiest thing to define. Other things come with their own complexity and other elements that we have to define. We'll start with color itself. Let's keep this here. We can even, increase the size. You can, yeah. So this thing, if you see on the left, right, this actually defines whether your the set which you are creating the tokens, right? It says global. So basically, this is a global set, right? This set is activated and deactivated. Right now, if it is checked, it is activated. You can, reference it to other set and you can use some tokens from it. And if it's deactivated, that means it is not shared with anyone. It's just there. It's not going to help you extract any references from it, right? So let's activate it. Like when you activate it, it's saying updating plugin data, right? So this is, providing information about your global set to the Figma, right? that you are using these things, you are using these components, you are using like the token which you are defining, going to define in this particular set. Okay, let's click on this color, right? We have this plus icon, we'll click on that, we'll create a new token, right? We can give it any name to it. Let's suppose we give it Floxy's blank brand color, right? I'm not sure if I'm right, but okay, I missed out on, yeah. So now we have a Floxy's brand color over here, right? It gives the name, it gives the hex code as well, right? So this says like now we have created this token, right? How we can apply it? If I use a rectangle, if I click on this, if I just click on this button, it directly applies to uh, the rectangular or the button which we use, right? If I see on the right, it says that we are using this plugin, right? If I just click on that again, the color is removed, right? So you can, if the token is, being used by any component, if you again click on that particular token, it removes itself from it there, right? So right now it doesn't have any color, right? When you click on this one, now this is applied to this particular component, right? If you edit this color, let's suppose we make it something bluish, right? If we save it, now if we click it, this should actually apply itself. Okay. Now I edited the token. It gets reflected over there without even, changing it. Is it clear, guys?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm just gonna have a look around the table. Girls, is everything clear for you? Can give me a thumbs up if you want. I can see Carla's nodding, thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up, thumbs up. Awesome. Yeah.
Great, great. So what we did, we created a token, we applied it in a particular component. Right now we are, considering this rectangle as a component. Then we edited a token and we saw that this gets reflected, right? So now what's happening here, wherever we are going to use the tokens, now we are going to use it as a like the convention which we define, right? The alias tokens and the component specific token. Now we will be actually using all the colors basis on those things, right? We will be defining tokens on basis on those things, right? Right now I just said that it's a Floxy's brand color, but we are not going to define it this way, right? This is just a way how you're going to create it. Now I'll let you know how to actually, maybe name it and how we can use it. Okay, let's remove this one. We can even, get rid of this. Oh, let's wait. We have another thing that's called using the references. Okay. So here we see, I've created a Floxy's brand color, right? If you see, it says we can, even use this reference, the color which you have defined as a, core value or core token, you can actually use it as a reference into your alias tokens, right? How we do that? Here it says, create a new token instead of giving hex code. Let's give it a color blue, right? We have already done that. We have given it Floxy's brand color. That is the name of our brand. Let's suppose we want to create a new, right? A new color. Let's suppose it says CTA BG, and let's suppose it says color, right? Now here we can have,
And I think that's a good naming convention best practice as well. Whenever you're using a space on your keyboard, make sure that you use a little hyphen in the middle from one word and the other word. So just another little tip, best practice right there.
yeah, this actually, defines the level of the particular component or wherever you are using it. Even if you are using it, like if we use it in this particular plugin, instead of hyphen, we use dot. If we use it in the Figma platform, instead of hyphen, we try to use slash. So what that helps you, helps you create a folder, right? Within CTA, you will have a background. Within background, you will have color, right? There could be multiple CTA, right? Within CTA, there could be text, there could be BG, there could be heading. And within BG also, you can have color, you can have inverted color, you can even have like like the fill, you can even have the stroke color. So that will help you organize things properly. We will get into that as well, how to structure all of these things. Uh, but talking about the references,
Part
yeah,
three.
now what we have done, not part three, we'll cover that in this one itself. Okay, so yeah, talking about CTA background color. Now what I'm doing, I'm not defining any hex code. I'm not giving it any value here. I'm just giving it a reference of the Floxy's brand color, which we have defined already. And the best thing about this is, like, let's suppose you created it here. Now you got it here. That's fine, right? Why you do this? I hope you can relate this to thing like where we have, the same pink 400 color for the core token, but we have the same color for a different alias name, right? CTA background color, right? We have the same pink color for button CTA background color. So you are using same color for different tokens, and that is the name of your token basically. Here we have Floxy's brand color, but it should be pink 400, right? Okay, we'll get into this later. Uh, if I talk about the alias name, yeah, that goes with CTA background color. Okay, so whenever you're going to change the brand color of pink 400, it will get reflected wherever you have used it, right? Wherever you are fetching that data, it will get changed. The best thing about using the references is, let's suppose you created a new set. Uh, why do we create set? We create set in order to keep things structured. Like I said, we create folders where we define different things. You will also create folder. There are some global components that you will define. There are components specific to particular need. It could be text. It could be, color for a background. It could be for your, let's suppose you are coming up with a, a new set of pages or block pages. You will define those things separately, right? Let's suppose I give it a new set, right? Just give it the name of new set. I activated it. What I'll do, I'll go here, I'll say this could be my text color, right? And where I'm going to use it, a heading for text color, right? And I can even use the references here, right? Now it says like you can use pink 400 or CTABG4 color, but I don't want to use CTABG4 color because that can change. I'll go with pink 400. That's the core value. That's the core token I'm going to use. I'm going to reuse other places as well, right?
So would you say you're creating variants of the pink 400?
You can say so because like in variants also we define different component, like within components we define different I would say component set, right? In this what we are doing, we are actually creating a short variants, but not exactly variant, I would say, because some or the other way variants are interconnected. What once you choose different color, these are not interconnected, right?
Okay.
uh, like if you see on a variance angle, right? uh, you can actually select let's suppose we have a button where we have an icon, we have a text, we have a CTA icon as well at the end. If you select a CTA icon, there's a small button underneath that, that if you click on that, then every that particular button you can select on every variant, right? So that's the feature of a particular variant. But here things are actually disconnected.
Okay.
Though it's connected from the source, but it's disconnected. You can see it from an angle that it's branching out from the
Okay.
roots, but it doesn't have any kind of relation within themselves.
Okay.
So that's how it is different, right? So now we have created the token, we have edited it, we have used it within a rectangle, we have used this as a reference. Moving on, we'll understand how to create a set. This is a set that we have created called new set just by adding on this one. And like you can see here, it is different colors can be grouped by naming using uh, full stop between the folder name and the color name. By that, what it is mean? It's mean like let's suppose we edit this one and we have So now what we have done within a set itself, we have defined these two colors within a folder that says color, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's rename this. Let's make it brand primary colors.
And this is all by using that tool or that plugin that you showed us earlier on. Token
Sorry.
Studio. Yeah, this is all by using the Token Studio plugin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are whatever we are going to do next. It's based on this token studio itself.
Mm-hmm. Is
Like I
it
said,
free?
Figma
Is it free
has
to use?
yeah, it is free to use. You can get the pro version, but for the basic and for good understanding of token, it's completely free. Even for a small design system,
Mm-hmm.
it's workable. Talking about tokens for a project that is as small as like obviously to develop all this to create this token system to create this design system it's a time taking process, right? You need to actually understand whether you should be using this approach for your project or not, right? If your project is it's small, or I won't say small, if it's if it doesn't contain a lot many pages, a lot many stakeholders getting into the product designing role, then I would suggest like design system and tokens should be skipped, right? For the initial level, right? You can obviously define this in the coming stages, right? But for the first few initial I would say product launch, or maybe the draft should be created without these things, right? You can have these sets of things after a certain period of time when you have defined everything, and you have actually make a concrete understanding of yeah, that this is something that we are going to move forward with, and we have to scale it, right? Because to set up the token system, it's a time taking process. Okay, so like I said, we have defined this as a brand primary colors. Within this, we can have all the colors. We have pink. We can even have not sure what all colors are there in the Floxy's brand color, but we can have pink. We can even have blue. We can have whatever color we want, right? And similarly, we can define another as well, right? Let's suppose it says the brand primary colors, and it already comes with a full stop. Now what you can do, you can define a blue color within this. Let's choose a blue color. Okay, something went wrong. Yeah, the blue color is already here. So whenever you click on this add a new token, uh, against this brand name, against this folder name, it will automatically create within that particular folder. Okay. Another tip is references work across sets only when with activated set, right? Let's suppose we have actually used the brand primary color dot. Okay, let me edit this. Yeah, we have used this that brand primary color dot ping 400 as a reference here, right? If I deactivate is this one, then this color is broken link now. This is not actually referring to anything. So that means when you activate, then the whole component set or the token set is actually shared with the Figma, and you can refer to that one. When you deactivate, that connection is lost, because of which you cannot use it, maybe as a reference or within your design system. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect, perfect. Moving on, we can import styles, we can create styles. Like let's suppose you have already created some styles within Figma itself. You have like we have here, yeah, we have primary and we have brand colors. We have shadow 30. We have some styles defined by headings itself. So what we can do, we can import these styles, right? We can import these styles within the token studio for Figma, this plugin, and let's see how we can do that. Okay, where we go to styles, we can say create styles. Sorry, we'll say import styles, right? All the styles which we have defined on the left are here, right? This says primary. That means the pink color which we have defined here, that says primary. The brand color which we have defined here, that comes in. The shadow where we have, mentioned 24 pixel, that comes here. So now what we are doing, we are importing all the styles from the Figma itself to the plugin.
Mm-hmm.
So now when we did choosing this the set, all the things came in. Like if you see this one, if you can go to edit, it says type is drop shadow, the X is 13, Y is 16, blur is 4, spread is 0, and the color is black. If you want to, just match it with this one, you can see the same. Like it says drop shadow, it says 13, X is 13, Y is 16, blur is 4, spreads is 0, and the color is black. So this actually helped us import all the design we have, created on Figma to the Token Studio,
And
right? Like
is that file saved anywhere? So is this like a style sheet that you can reuse on another design?
yeah, yeah, we can do that. We can even go to setting. We can, figure out how we can actually add new things and how we can, get this out of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Here, what we have, yeah,
Maybe the arrow bottom right next to apply page. Maybe it has something like download.
no, this
Oh,
is basically no,
okay.
download comes. This is the basically the code that we can actually get the
Ah, yeah.
JSON value from,
Nice. Yeah.
right? Yeah. But let's go back to the listing. And this is basically for applying it across the document and the pages, or maybe whatever you have selected, right? Like if you see, right, you can have a different page for the presentation. You can have different page for the components. You can have different page for the, actual design pages, right? So you can, based on this, you can apply this to a particular page you're working on. You can apply to the whole document or the selection, right? So we are generally working on the apply to the page, right? Talking about the spreadsheet, I'm not sure about that, but we can definitely, get if you have any other, let's suppose you have defined some components within the code itself, and you have a particular link or it's on the GitHub, you can get it from here. Not sure if we can actually, get this exported in any form, right? Because yeah, I'm not sure if that's available in free version, or maybe we can get in pro one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, so yeah, and yeah, that's how we actually import design from Figma to this particular thing, like the Token Studio plugin. Okay, now we have created these things, right? And it says create style. If we create style, this give back to the Figma, right? The properties which are limited, the like we cannot actually have rounded corners, that cannot be converted into style. But the properties which is supported by Figma, those can only be created into Figma. If you see this, like we have a folder here, brand primary color. This comes here, brand primary color, pink 400, CTA, BG color, and blue, right? So this is how you actually import from Figma to the plugin, and from plugin you create the styles into Figma itself, right? Oh, sorry,
No worries.
I closed it.
What would you say the difference is between components and tokens?
Okay. When you define components, right? Like if you're not defining tokens, then you're actually not defining the use case of any particular component, right? Component is, if you see this button, right, you have it a create, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a button, right? You can use it in any way you want. You can even, instead of create, you can write cancel. You can change the form of it. You can do only limited set which you are defining in the component set.
Yeah.
But what if I haven't defined, this create color in pink? What if I haven't defined this create color with a border around it, right? What if I haven't defined these things, right? Then we can actually use these tokens, right? On top of it, do tokens are the things which define that particular button, right? Which define that particular property of that button. Let's suppose you want to change this create. Uh, let's suppose we want to change this, CTA create blue color into pink. How will you actually convey this to a designer? You cannot say that change the color of that CTA button to pink. There could be, multiple buttons that are there using the same component. How will you change that? Then you have to actually define that instead of using this, color, which is here CTA background and the color, change it that CTA background color to something called orange, right? Are you getting my point? Am I
Mm-hmm.
clear on this one?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this is like when you define components, right? Whatever we do in design, we are actually trying to help the user, right? But user doesn't see the design. User see the coded version of the design, right?
Yeah.
That coded version of the design should have consistencies, and that consistency can only come when we are defining everything very precisely. If we are just saying that you can use a CTA button over here on this particular section, right? It's not very precise where we are using it, why we are using it, what color we are using it, and all of those stuff. And you cannot create multiple components for each and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you define tokens. You define tokens to help your developer understand uh, what to change, where to change, and how to change it. Because if we say let's just change the CTA color from blue to orange, then everywhere wherever we have used that CTA button, it will change, right? But we are actually, what if we are just trying to specify that we have to change a CTA button of a particular section, right?
Yeah.
Then this comes in play. Then we actually define, like, yeah, this is the property, and this we have to change it with something else.
Mm-hmm.
So on a nutshell, if we say uh, tokens are basically the alteration between the properties, whereas component are the basic structure which build the whole system or whole design, whatever you are working on.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. That works.
Okay.
We only
Moving
we only
on.
have 15 minutes left, so just to give you a heads up.
Sure. Like we already discussed the importing styles, we discussed the creating styles, how you can actually, import data from Figma and maybe export it from there. Moving on. Oh, sorry, I'm going back. Yeah. Okay. This is basically inspect and remap. Like how you can actually figure out like where you're using what and how you can, change it. I think this is something not pretty useful. Let's move on. Let's see what next, as we have only 15 minutes left. Okay. Yeah. Like I have already mentioned this, you can as a token, like it's the token system is something that is useful majorly for designers, not for us. And it actually help us create a very good sync, what to change, how to change, and how to actually make things, scalable. Like it's written on the left side, as token make more sense in the team environment. Some sort of sync is required to keep value updated while the team is working on different files, right? As you change something, that should reflect to somewhere else as well, right? By default, all tokens are stored in the document where you are working in, right? If you need to work in multiple documents, this option won't work, as it means you have to copy paste your tokens to other documents. That means the references that we are mentioning. However, it's useful community resource. Where do you want to use your credential of storage provider to be exposed? Instead, you just want the token to be there. You can read more, blah blah blah. Like this gives you a whole understanding of how you can actually use a common library which can be used by you, which can be used by a developer, and whatever changes they make on that particular library, that gets reflected on yours, and like how that sync will be there, right? And like I showed this in the sync button, sync provider, we can add a URL, we can add even a GitHub file. I haven't used GitLab and Azure generic version. These are something new I haven't explored yet, but you can add any URL and you can sync that particular document with your tokens, right? uh, yeah, this was something that mentioned that we are used. Let's discuss this as well. Okay.
If anyone has any questions at any point, considering that we have, we're running out of time a little bit, so please drop them in the chat so that I can find a good time to either get you on mic or just ask them for you. And that applies to everyone watching as well. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat and I'll ask them for you as well.
Okay. Under inspect, we can see what all we are using. This deep inspect basically means to look into the nested components as well, to look into the nested item as well, right? Okay. So if you see, like, if you clicked on this one, we applied a token. This says that we are using this one, and this means that there's only rectangle 150 under, like, which is using this component. This is how you actually, let's suppose we use multiple things over here, right? Like we have already imported and exported things. Now both the Figma and this particular plugin have the both like all the styles common in them. I have used inspect. If you see this text uses heading 4, right? Which is a defined style. If I select the whole frame, it says H4 and H3 is used. H3 is used under, like, if you see, this is giving you the in how many depth you have to go within a folder particularly. Heading 3 is not visible over here because if you see, this is a component, this is the instance of a component, and we have this component which is not visible yet. But if you select here, it shows that heading H3 is being used somewhere, though it is not visible over here. It could be like we haven't okay, this one is closed, right? So now this says, like, we select this one. Now this says this is using paragraph 6, right? But as we select this, this says now we are using H4, H paragraph 16 and H3. I believe H3 is being used here. Acha, huh. Okay. So yeah, now if we select this, if we deselect this, then nothing, gonna show up because it's just, looking into that particular frame. It's not getting into it. When we select deep inspect, then it's actually inspecting each and every token that is being used within this particular frame. This comes handy when you try to figure out like what all components you have used on a particular frame or a particular screen which you have created, and how you can actually maybe if you want to change anything, let's suppose we want to change heading 4 with something else, then we have to use that particular naming convention where we will define that, yeah, the CTA text button, CTA text color should be changed to something else, right? So this will give you an idea how the tokens are being used within a particular given frame. Okay. Yeah. We have some other option as well where we can, set to none. We can remove the selected. This say select all. Basically, this help you select that particular thing. So yeah, these come handy when you are actually trying to inspect things, when you're trying to figure out which designer has used what they have, done in their particular work. Let's suppose someone,
Does
changed a
it
few
show
things
you?
and
Does it show you? So if you
sorry.
click on heading H4, does it show you where in the frame that's been used?
Yeah. Yeah. If I clicked on this one, right, the start,
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see it now.
there
Yeah,
is a selection around it, right?
yeah.
So like if you click on this one, if you say this,
Mm-hmm.
this tell you wherever it is, it will,
Yeah,
select it basically. Okay.
yeah.
This is basically for selection, and this is basically for selecting that particular token, right? Let's suppose we have these two tokens and we want to remove the selector, right? So you can do that. Now, this is actually, okay, why isn't it moving? Not sure. This should remove actually, but
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is an instance, right? Maybe because of that, not sure about this one. This is an instance of a component, right? Where we have defined that this will be H4, this will be paragraphs 16, and this would be H3. Because of that, I believe that's not changing.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's just because it's an inspect feature rather than changing
Sorry.
anything. Maybe it's just because it's inspecting the page rather than changing anything.
Uh, I believe if we can inspect, we can definitely, maybe tweak it, because what's the point of inspecting if you cannot actually bulk change it? Because if I really need to do it one by one, then obviously it's not a scalable system,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Do you
Yeah,
use this on
that
your day-to-day job? Like, do you use this a lot? Do you do a
no,
lot of
no,
scalable designs? No?
no, we don't use this. Actually, talking about this particular plugin, when we started working on this, this was a bit buggy
Mm-hmm.
a few months back. Now this is actually, catching up and, coming up with few different features as well. That's why I haven't actually explored the Get Pro version as well. But like I said, these system and everything needs to be done when you're working on a very large scale, when you have tons of pages, when you have somewhere around 5 to 10 people in the design team, there are multiple developer teams, and there are multiple stakeholders.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about ourselves, we at Minimal Tweaks are a team of 15 people, and we have a small team of designers where we have only 6 designers in our team, right? That too, given only two them are basically UI UX, right? So we don't actually use this because we don't work on a such scalable system. But yeah, this is actually industry standard, I believe. People are using this quite a lot.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's good to know. And also, I know that there are some professional figures that specifically focus on design systems. So you can be, you can apply as a UX UI designer for a job, but you can also apply as a design system designer, basically. And all you do is design system, or it's one of the priority that the company is looking for. I've noticed that in job adverts lately. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I think that would be it. We wrapped it within the time.
Yes, we made it. We've still got like 7 minutes. That's good. Awesome. So we can ask you some questions actually. But thank you so much, once again, just for taking the time and preparing this amazing presentation. I'm sure that all our audience here has learned a lot from it. I surely did. So I'm very happy, I'm very grateful to have you back. I have a question for you. How do you become a Figma expert, or how did you become a Figma expert?
The curiosity helped me explore each and everything in Figma. Uh, if I talk about being a Figma expert, obviously, it's my personal belief, right? You cannot explore any particular platform 100%. If you see Photoshop, I I think there is no one in the world who can say that they can use Photoshop, or maybe they are 100% efficient in Photoshop. Yeah, you can do some things. You can do, I would say you can do a lot of things, but you cannot utilize that particular platform to its full capability. That goes with Figma as well. If you just go above a certain level, or like the average understanding of people, if you just go beyond that, you become an expert. That's how people, start treating you if you give you the answers of everything related to a platform. That too from an angle, let's suppose it's not 100% correct, but it's adding some kind of value to the other guy. They start considering you an expert. Though I, frankly speaking, I don't consider myself an expert in this. Uh, there's a lot to explore. Trust me. On like, I keep on exploring the prototype. That's what my forte is in my, if I say in Figma. I keep on exploring, prototypes and the motion part, how we can actually utilize Figma for something they haven't built it for, right? So
Yeah.
prototyping is something that comes with UI UX design and stuff like that, but it doesn't give you that kind of flexibility where you can animate things in a very beautiful manner, how you can do it in After Effects, right? So I try to push limits and just
Do you have a prototype you want to
trying
show
that.
us? I know that you've been working on some fancy animations.
Okay.
You don't have to build it from
That
scratch in 5 minutes, don't worry. Just if you have anything ready you want to show. But I've seen it on LinkedIn, so I was hoping you have it ready somewhere.
I'll I'll share this. Like, this is the best thing I have worked till now. Obviously, like, there's a lot of scope we can, how we can improve this one as well. But yeah, this is the best what I have worked till now, and like, obviously, I would love to show this to everyone. So this is basically, if you see, uh, here, this is an animation, right?
And I've seen
The
people
name is
doing crazy things. Like, this is amazing. right? And it's all designed on Figma. It's not, you're not using any motion tools. Like, this is all Figma. And to me, that's like magic, you know. I've seen people doing illustration, like Vijav, you know. I've been trying to get him onto the Fluxys events, but he's been super shy. But one day, Vijav, I'll get you. But it's impressive, you know, from an artistic point of view, a technical point of view. It's all clean and organized. Look at that. I can't even imagine. I wouldn't know where to start.
It needs to be this way. Like, if you're working on something as big as this, obviously design system much bigger than this, and obviously we being a designer are very, I would say, too stubborn to see something not aligned, right? Like, if I have something, mentioned placed here
Oh
somewhere,
yeah,
somewhere
no.
in the
OCD
canvas.
cripples in.
So yeah, so that you know that feeling of not things are not aligned, that actually creeps me out, right? That's why I try to
Yeah.
keep things aligned, and obviously that helps to understand what things are actually like there are background components. They are then the background components are animating over here. We have some prototype set again in this one, same with this one. Though I feel that
It's so cool.
this might get a bit laggy if I refresh this. Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
mad.
this
That's fantastic.
soon I'm planning to make Figmish fly. Let's see if we can.
Awesome.
Till now, it learned only to walk. Let's see.
Well, that's great. Anshul, and just what's a piece of advice that you would give to just an individual designer? Because I know that, like, particularly to our community, not many of us here work in big teams. Like, most of us are still trying to find our ways in, and or work as a solo freelancer. So, what's the best advice you could give them as a designer?
Uh, as a designer, I believe if you are just starting out, or maybe if you are just 6 months down the line, right? Just try to copy. Just try to copy anyone and everyone you get on internet. Like, if you see dribble shots, if you see Pinterest, if you see anywhere else, right? If you start understanding those details, those nitty gritty, properties and values of anything, right? You'll start developing up conscious itself, where you will be using those stuff when you will create something from scratch. So for initial couple of years, I would highly recommend just copy and try to copy as it is. I know, like being a designer, it's might not, uh, give good feeling to our ego, but try to copy as much as you can. I did copied a lot. I still copy. I keep on copying, like, because I cannot create anything on my own. I cannot create anything, something that is not out there. But what I can do, I can get something from somewhere else, get something from other place. I can mix it up, maybe add my taste maker, and create something new. That will help me, obviously generate something that is that is uh, uh, that belongs to me, that have my touch, but inspired by someone else, inspired by experts, right? People have already explored a lot in the design field, and I think we are late, but it's like, even if you start today, even if you start copying today, in 1 year's time, you will be creating something of your own, and trust me, then people will start copying you. So start with copying.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, thank you so much once again. You know, your insights were invaluable, and I hope that everyone who joined us here today appreciated the event as much as I did and found it really informative and engaging. So I hope to see you at the next event. Anshul, I hope we stay in touch, you know, if we ever decide to organize something else together. But yeah, until then I wish you a very great night for you ahead and a very great day to everyone else here.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you so much for having me. We'll definitely stay in touch. Have a good
Amazing.
morning.
All right. Bye, everyone. Take care. See you at the
Bye
next
bye.
Wonder Wednesday. Bye bye.